The new standard for the Xbox Series X will be games at 4K and 60 frames per second. However, the Series X does have the ability to play games at 120 frames per second. Now, in order to reach this, you will need a TV or monitor that supports this, and one with HDMI 2.1 in order to get the most out of the Series X, and unfortunately, those just aren't ready available at the moment. However, let's review really quick which games have been confirmed to support 120 frames per second so far. But before we do, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We're the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. We have videos dropping every single day. We've got a podcast every single week. You can subscribe to it over on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to Xbox podcasts. That's where we will be. We also record it live right here on YouTube on this channel every single Friday. So make sure you hit that notification bell and be notified when we go live. Okay, so first off, we've got a good one. That's right, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. This game, in my mind, is ideal for 120 FPS, and you get to experience the high-action Twitch shooter at that frame rate. Should be life-changing. It should be buttery smooth, beyond buttery smooth, actually. And it should be a good time. We've got Devil May Cry 5. This is a beautiful game. Another action, twitchy fighter game here. It also supports 120 frames per second. So does the launch title Racer Dirt 5. Now, racing games always benefit for higher frame rates, so 120 frame should be amazing to experience this. In reviews, it does seem like you are missing out on Dirt 5. We've gotten reviews from people. It does seem like you are missing out when you jump up to 120 frames per second, that they take away some of the detail. Perhaps it's not as high resolution, stuff like that with Dirt 5. Regardless, 120 FPS should be amazing in any racing game. We've got Gears 5. That's right, but only multiplayer will support 120 FPS, which is very exciting. Imagine experience all that gritty gore that is Gear 5's multiplayer in beyond buttery smooth 120 FPS. Here's an interesting one. Will of the Wisps, Ori Will of the Wisps, will support 120 frames per second. This game was already beautiful and smooth, so upping the frames should be amazing. It is also very curious at experiencing this platformer at that fast a frame rate. What does that do to the gameplay? What does that do to the game? How quickly are you able to get through some of those levels? And does it affect the speed at which you're able to accomplish that? Rainbow Six Siege, which was just announced for Game Pass, will run at 120 frames per second. And again, here's a tactical competitive shooter where the increased frame rate should give you the edge against those other operators. Now, these are just some of the biggest titles from the list. Here's the complete list of 120 frames per second compatible games. This list was provided to us from Eurogamer, so huge shout out to those guys. Again, you will need HDMI 2.1 to experience the maximum capability of the Series X and 120 frames per second, so that is whatever that resolution is. If it is able to do 4K, it's yet to be seen whether all these games will be able to do 4K 120. For sure 4K 60, but 4K 120 is another issue, and to experience that, if it is capable, you will need a device with HDMI 2.1. They're just not readily available right now. There are some, if you're willing to shell out a little bit of funds for some TVs that have it, but in the monitor space, it really doesn't exist up to this point. So it's very exciting for the future of this, for the future of gaming. 60 frames 4K is a big jump anyways. That's going to be a new standard is exciting. But I want to know from you guys, what games are you most excited to experience in 120 frames per second? Or are you more excited to experience them at 4K 60? Let me know in the comments below. Again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. We're the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you next time.